Welcome to Megazord Radio, the show where we recap and rank episodes of the Power Rangers television franchise. I'm your host, Nightster, and with me is my co host, Riely.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show.
And what a finale!
What a finale! Our first time talking about a season finale on Megazord Radio. Very exciting stuff.
Very,
The
very
end.
exciting.
The end of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury is upon us.
I'm very honored to be part of a finale thing. It's very exciting.
Yeah. And I'm sure we're both going to have great things to say, as opposed to if certain other people were here.
Yeah, who, if they were still on, would have very negative things to say.
Let's
And
go to
I'm intrigued
Cosmic
to
Fury Episode 9. What are you intrigued about?
hear your thoughts about some of the things that happen in episode 10. So,
There were some there's some references. There are a couple of nods.
I will cross that bridge
Nods
when we
and
get
or winks.
Yeah. And we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but there's a few things I'm like, ooh, I wonder how we felt about that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm excited. This is a good set. I don't want to sound like I'm
Yeah.
down on it because I realized I just kind of sounded like I was down on it. I'm not. Good set of episodes.
Very
But
good.
let's go ahead and talk about it, folks. This episode aired September 29th, 2023, just like all of them. It was written by Becca Barnes, Alwyn Dale, and Guy Langford, and directed by Michael Hurst. And it's called Master Plan. I don't think I said that. It's a pretty important part.
Yeah, the episode name, Master Plan, which
So we start.
I'm only now realizing why it's called that.
Yeah, because it was a master plan.
Master,
You get it?
yeah, Morphin Master, Master Z. Yeah.
Yeah. Get it? Haha.
No, it's. Cause I thought it was the Rangers Master Plan, but no, it's Zed's
See,
Master.
I didn't think about it either. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and pretend that I did. I just thought they were referring to that it was like Zed's big final plan is the master plan, which is correct. But I didn't think about the double entendre that was going on.
Yeah. So where do we open? Let's
We
have
open.
let's have a look. See.
We open on the Cosmic Fury spaceship, I believe. I recall.
Let me mute so the audio doesn't become a problem. And yes, we do.
Yeah. So we start on the Cosmic Fury spaceship. Billy is there. Billy is being briefed on the fact that if Zayto uses too much magic, he's gonna die. And the Rangers and Solon have been trying to reverse it. Has not worked. We don't get to see any of these efforts because Hasbro only gave this show 10 episodes. But we got to take what we're given. The Rangers then get a call from Eltar, and it's Zed. And he's like, haha, you tried to turn Ollie good again by destroying his statue, but it didn't work, idiots. Ha ha. And they see that Slither and Mucus have been captured and they're about to be like tortured or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
Amicus is just in a jar.
Mucus is in a jar, yes, because to contain her mucusness. Uh, oh god, oh jeez, oh no, I don't want to open an incognito tab on Google. It's not what I'm trying to do. I'm
Hey,
just
what are you
trying to
looking up?
read. I'm just trying to read Cosmic Fury Master Plan plot summary.
We're trying to hide from the government.
I don't want the government to know that I'm watching Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. Okay, so yeah, that's going on. Vigilia shows up. She's also alive, by the way. Her daughter is not. Spoiler alerts, even though you would think they would both have the same squid regeneration abilities. Maybe she
Yeah.
is alive. Maybe the next show isn't a reboot all along, and Squilly is going to be the main villain.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
So yeah, she's alive. Zed does some various gloating, but then, hey guys, guess what? I don't know if you realized this from the way he slyly stared into the camera at the end of the last episode, but Ollie is playing a trick.
And we totally didn't call this in like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, of
When
course
we talked
not.
about it.
So yeah, Ollie did a trick. He shoots Lord Zed and is like, Zed's gonna turn himself into a Morphin Master. And then I thought that Zed just like executed Ollie right there, and I should have known. I did know, I guess, because I guess I knew he became a good Power Ranger. But in my mind, I'm like, did Zed just fucking execute Ollie off screen? Like, did he just like shoot an energy bullet and now Ollie is dead?
He's right off bat. But
But
no,
he did not kill him.
no, he's alive. He set lasers to stun.
Yeah. So yeah, he gets shot,
You
and
know.
he chains him up, and they cut the feed. So that's fucked. So the Power Rangers are in a bit of distress, and there's no information on how the conversation gets from this point A to this next point B. But at some point, it comes up that the morphing grid cannot be destroyed, which is something that Zayto explains to us now that he has his fancy new Morphin Master Link.
Yeah,
So yeah, the Morphin Grid cannot be destroyed. Keep that in your pocket. That's not important for later, but they're gonna make you think it is for a while.
yeah. It becomes another like mention thing, but they'd never bring it back.
It
And
becomes a red herring for what the ending's going to be, essentially.
yeah, nothing really becomes of it.
So regardless, but also apparently its link can be destroyed, especially if Zed gets it all, because then it'll like fuck it all up. And Amelia's like, okay, we got to go to Eltar right now to rescue Ollie, because Ollie put his neck on the line for us. We got to do it for him. We got to go get him. And she's about to take off. She goes to fucking take off the spaceship. And Billy's like, hey, maybe not right now, because like all the other Power Rangers are busy. So like if we go when they're not, we're gonna have like a whole army and we'll be fine. But if you go now, probably not gonna go well for you. And Amelia's like, yeah, you're probably right, but like, gotta. Which, of course, is the Power Ranger way. Congratulations to Amelia. Man, I
Yeah, they
wish
can't
she
really.
did more.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I will talk about it more in the next episode, I suppose. But yeah, I'm just like real unjazzed at how every fucking season for the past 20 years has been like 85% about the Red Ranger. And now we have a Red Ranger who I already know that I like, and it's not the case suddenly.
Yeah, it's yikes.
So, they cucked their first female Red Ranger, which really we should have expected it from them. Because they also cucked their first female Red Ranger before too, but this is the first like whole show one, and they still did that.
Yeah,
Because
like
like this
the
is
more.
her best moment. This is like some of her best moments in the show are in this episode, and even then, I'm not sure I'm picking her. Because like she's never the highlight of an episode. They never give her that.
Yeah, I think I might give it to her though, just because. Well, you find out later, but
Fair
with the ending
enough.
one, I do think I'm gonna go for her.
They also do that thing where they try to make SPD make sense, which what are you doing, guys? It doesn't. There's no you've already missed the if you wanted to make SPD make sense, you would have had to have started you would have had to have started before SPD to make SPD make sense. So don't try. You're not gonna do it. What Billy said was, oh, people are losing their homes. We have to relocate them to New Tech City. Yeah, okay. SPD implied aliens have lived in New Tech City for like 20 years. Fuck off. It's never gonna make sense. The only way SPD makes sense is if it's in its own pocket universe. Stop trying.
Yeah, because then, in fact, this is a contradiction to SPD's law because it's like aliens have been living there for 20 years, but this is literally the same year or a year before SPD was.
Yeah, 2 years. So this is 2023.
Yeah,
So yeah, they're trying to like patchwork it and be like, yeah, we had to send him to New Tech City, which I guess maybe there are already aliens specifically in New Tech City, which is kind of an easy explanation, but they don't give that explanation. What they're implying by what they're not saying is this is how New Tech City comes to be in the form that we see it, which makes no sense.
yeah.
So SPD is not canon, no matter how hard Hasbro tries to tell you that it is. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, little ones.
But just have it be like Dino Charge. It's its own
It's
universe.
its own little dimension. Yeah.
You can cross over into the other Ranger universes when crossovers are needed. It's fine.
But regardless, Billy's like, hey, you got a good team here. You got a good head on your shoulders, good leader. And I'm gonna say what my mentor used to say to you, to you. May the power protect you. And he leaves. It's not gonna be the last time we hear that phrase. It's not gonna be anywhere
Nope.
near the last time we hear that fucking phrase in these two episodes.
Nowhere near here, but
They really, you see, here's the thing, right? They hammered the legacy stuff, but not in any super meaningful way. That's the problem. Where like the clapping seal like reference stuff does work on me. Like I do like when continuity is referenced even when it doesn't really mean much. So I'm not like upset about it, but it's just something to point out that like these two episodes are like fucking stuffed with legacy stuff, but it doesn't really mean anything.
yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from with that.
Some of it means something. The stuff with Zordon kind of means something, but the rest
Oh
of
yeah,
it is not.
it's like not anything in the grand scheme of things, basically.
But regardless, this is good legacy because he's saying that you see, this is the first time they say the line in these string of episodes. In this part, it works. Then they say it about 97 more times. But so the Rangers they take off. They're heading for Eltar. They're intercepted by Inkworth, the butler, who you might recall as having never done anything important up to this point, and is now a giant monster fighting the Power Rangers, and he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he is. Like he had them on the run and with his what ink rain, wasn't it?
Yeah, because the Ink Rain, the mechanics of the Ink Rain are weird. Like I guess maybe it just covered the like optical part. Maybe that's what they were implying, but they were like, we can't see. But they weren't like visibly covered in ink, and the ink was just raining down. So it's like you might have blind spots, but you should be able to see. But maybe their oculars just got inked.
Maybe.
But regardless, yeah, Inkworth is killing them. At first, they do the Cosmic Fury Megazord and the Cosmic Dragon Megazord, and Inkworth is defeating them. And then Ion uses a couple of the auxiliary swords to like clear out the sky from the ink rain. And
Yeah.
then they make the Ultra Zord, and Inkworth is defeated.
The first
Which
and only use of the Ultra Zord in this season, I'm pretty sure.
I guess you're right. Yeah,
Because they called it a new combination.
there's gonna be. You see, that for an Ultra Zord doesn't feel that jarring. Like whatever. I'm willing to accept that the Ultra Zord is just once or twice because I don't give a shit about the Zords. There will be something later in this episode that really grinds my gears that it took them until this episode to do.
Yeah. I think I know exactly what you mean.
But yeah, they destroy him with the Ultra Zord. Inkworth is gone, which I'm sure you're mourning. I remember you were an Inkworth fan.
I I am an Inquire fan because he's like, because like I'm British, okay. The whole British
Oh,
butler
I
vibe.
really? I didn't know.
Ish. But the whole British butler vibe is endearing. I love it. I just adore the entire, feel that it gives off.
Yeah, I always liked him, especially in this episode. And if you were curious as to who's competing with Amelia in my head for this episode, it's Inkworth. Because Inkworth had some good lines. Inkworth was trucking the fucking Power Rangers. Inkworth kind of kicked ass in this episode.
Oh, no doubt. He absolutely trucked it.
But regardless, he did ultimately get defeated by the one and only appearance of the Cosmic Fury Ultrazord. So rip in peace, Inkworth. Then we go to the fortress. Ollie and Slither and Mucus are captured still. Ollie's trying to like rub his chains to break them, that old move. And Mucus is like, "You're almost there. You can do it." And there's a copy guard there, and he's like, "Yeah, in a year, maybe. If you keep it up for a year, he might escape."
Man, screw that copy guard.
It's weird that the copy guards like this copy guard like talks and has a personality. Because has that been the case for like any copy guard before? This is the only time I remember a copy guard saying anything.
I think some of them might have said a few words here and there,
They
but
might
not
have had some quips, much like the Sentinels. Every, every once in a while, they just like have a Looney Tunes interaction, like something Wile E. Coyote says to the camera before Roadrunner causes him some sort of issue.
yeah, but this was definitely the most, I guess, iconic use of the guards talking.
Yeah, he's like, haha, he's making fun of Ollie. Um, and Ollie starts brooding. He's like, "Oh, I did so many bad things. What's Amelia gonna think of me?" And Slither and Mucus are like, "She's not gonna think anything, idiot. It wasn't your fault." Spoilers, they're right, because of course they are. You as a Power Ranger should never have to have this doubt. Like almost distressingly so. That's why they like did that. They hammered that so hard in the comics because that was like a criticism that people would levy towards Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is like, why are they not even a little mad at Tommy? Which like
Yeah,
I get it, but like I also get what they're saying because he does kick their ass pretty bad.
I do remember exactly what Sliver said in that moment, and it always makes me laugh thinking back on it because
What
it
did
was
he
just
say?
quote. It was, you you may have meat for brains, um, and then Mucus cuts him off with, "Hey, we're the good guys. We're
We're
nice
nice
now.
now. Yeah.
Oh, good meat, of course.
That's pretty good.
But you can't know how your lady is feeling."
How do I not remember Slither and Mucus fondly? Was I just in a bad mood when I was watching Dino Fury? Because, like, they're so good here.
Yeah, the terrific too. That's so good.
Yeah, they give Ollie a little bit of a pep talk. And then the copy guard's like, oh shit, there's Power Rangers. And there's explosions in the hall. And the Power Rangers are raiding Zed's base, and it's fucking cool. It's really cool. It's not Zed's base, I guess. Or is it Zed's base? No, it is. Because Zed's not there. So for a minute I thought it was just a squid drill, but no, it's Zed's base. So they're raiding Zed's base. Really awesome. Dino Fury has just been legendarily good at like making me feel pumped during like climactic end fights. Cause like that they definitely did that in Dino Fury, particularly the first time, because the finale of season 1 of Dino Fury is probably my favorite episode of this whole team's run. Like now I'm thinking about it versus Operation Seasoning, and I might have some reservations. I don't know what I'd go with, but the finale of Dino Fury season 1 is one of the most like kick-ass season finale. That's the unfortunate part. Is like in my head, all the super shows and all the season 2s they count as one because like there's no reason for those seasons to have been split really logistically. But some of those first half finales are maybe some of the best finales in Power Rangers. So that's the one part that's a little bit unfortunate when you count them all as one thing. Because, like, Dino Charge's finale, Dino Charge regular style, and Dino Fury Season 1's finale are some of the best finales in Power Rangers.
Completely agree.
But regardless, so yeah, the Power Rangers they beat all the Sentinels and the Copy Guard, and they not even the problem really. What's going on for the Power Rangers? They just fucking break right in, um, and then they get in there. They free Ollie, Lucas, and Slither, and then they demorph, and Ollie and Amelia have a beautiful moment. Where she's like, "Of course, I know that it's not your fault that you're evil. We're back. We're together again, and I'm very happy about that." And we're all love, love, love.
We're
So
all
that's
friends
good.
again.
What'd you say?
We're all friends again,
We're
basically.
all friends again. Group hug. And yeah, everybody reaccepts Ollie with open arms. Ollie picks up his Tricera blaster, which was not. I guess it's not. I guess Zed made it for him, so it's not connected to his grid connection. So I guess it makes sense that it's still here, but it is a little interesting because you would think that it would at least be somewhat connected, but it's here, and he picks it up. And he's like, the Master Captivator is gonna give Zed's the energy. It's done, so we gotta hurry up because he's gonna be a Morphin Master if we don't. And they're about to go, but then Bajilia locks him in. She
Yeah.
remotely seals the doors, and then she's like, "You're gonna die in 20 seconds." And then Slither says,
It's the countdown
"Slither
to destruction.
to destruction? Some sort of a countdown to destruction? Come on, man."
I
I
liked it. It was
I
a nice
also
scene.
I'm conflicted about it. It's a fun reference. I'm glad they referenced it, but at the same time, it's just like a I don't know if you're allowed to reference Countdown to Destruction. I don't know if you've reached the level of Power Rangers Kino that you're allowed to reference Countdown to Destruction, which is easily the best finale in Power Rangers history by a country mile. It's not even a little close.
And we're not going to get there for quite a while.
I mean, sooner than a lot of other things we're looking forward to. A lot of what we're looking forward to is like in the Disney era, which is going to take us like a decade to get to. Countdown to Destruction is thankfully only like 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons away.
Yeah. Like in space, I've heard is a pretty good season aside from a few minor things, but
I mean, it's mostly like stellar. Like I don't have it ranked ridiculously high, just
ha ha
because
ha.
true, because space. I don't have it ranked ridiculously high, but pretty high. It's definitely top 10. I think it might be 7 on my ranking right now. I'm keeping a ranking of all the seasons I'm watching, if you didn't know. Cosmic Fury just went on there as number 13. So that's the newest edition. Out of the 19 I've ranked so far, and I think I only have 3 to go. I think it's just a Megaforce, Samurai, and Ninja Steel, and then I'll have them all in there. Which I really saved an interesting bunch for last because I don't know how to space out the bad stuff so I can end with the good stuff. There's Ninja Steel, which I'm enjoying so far, but I've heard that it might nosedive in the transition between Ninja Steel and Super Ninja Steel, so I'm
Quick pause.
concerned. I don't know what Nightster said, but I think it was pause.
Yeah, quick pause because dog's
Okay.
going crazy.
Okay. We'll be back literally right now.
So, comic
You see, when I said we'd be back literally right now, what I didn't factor in is that Nightster was going to forget to mute himself and that we were going to hear him errantly in the distance.
I forgot to mute, didn't I?
He did.
Sorry.
Are you back? Have you situated the doggo?
Almost. I dealt
Okay.
with what was causing it. But hassle.
What a hassle.
Oh no, more blood. Oh god damn it! I need to clean that up.
Okay, well, actually mute yourself this time, and then we'll be back for real, literally right now for the audience.
Right. I just let her out. She should be fine.
All right.
We are back.
What were we talking about just now?
Uh, something
Oh,
about
you're talking about
season.
Power Rangers in space. Yeah. So Power Rangers in space, yeah, is mostly like a flawless season, I would say. Like, there's two episodes. There's an episode about Ashley's grandma, and there's an episode about an alien that Andros meets. And those are silly, silly bad episodes of Power Rangers, as you've come to know from every season has at least a couple. But other than that, it's a pretty great season.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it because I've heard some really good things about it.
But anyway, so the Power Rangers have been trapped. There's a countdown to destruction. And they can't teleport, and nobody has any way out. They're fucked. They're gonna die in 20 seconds. But then Zayto's like, Ion, remember earlier in that scene that Riely forgot to talk about when I said that I would do what was best for my team? Well, I gotta do that right now. And then he uses his Morphin Master magic to generate a big shield that protects everyone from the bomb that's gonna blow up. So they all don't die. The dust settles, and Zayto faints again. And everybody's very concerned about that. And they get even more concerned when the morphing grid appears in the sky. And Zayto starts fading away. This is well, it's not. I guess it's not really a rap on Zayto, but it is a rap on Zayto, the human man,
Yeah,
as he fades in Ion's arms and goes away. Ion's boyfriend fades away in his arms. Ion is very grief stricken, so grief stricken, in fact, that he immediately passes out.
well, he kind of grabs onto Zayto's spirit as it's passing through, and somehow his spirit gets dragged along. Because that
Oh,
makes
is that what
sense.
they were implying happened?
Yeah, because you can see Zayto's spirit passing from his body, and then as Zayto tries to hug um as Ion tries to hug Zayto, he actually grabs the spirit, and then you can see him passing through with Zayto.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously knew where Ion ended up, but I didn't know they set it up like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ion is unconscious. Zato's in the morphing grid. And everybody's grieving. It was actually like this is a moment. This is a moment for Amelia, I guess. In Amelia's camp. Because it is like a moment of like real, like she had to like be the bigger leader and not like play games because Zato disappears and Ion's like, this can't be real, this isn't happening right now, and Amelia, the logical one, just says goodbye, Zato, and it's crushing. It's crushing but true.
It is. Yeah. Like, ouch. That's all I can say about that is ouch.
I teared up a few times during these episodes.
Yeah, me too.
They're just good kids, man. I don't get why Crow doesn't like this. I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. But no one seems to get it. It's all just, oh, Cosmic Fury's bad. But like,
Oh, it's not
no.
what I wanted. Which obviously it's not what I fucking wanted. But like, it's good. That's the thing. It's the difference between what people wanted and what people got, and people can't separate the two. Where it's like, okay, I wish it was something else. Like I just said, I ranked it number fucking 13. I'm obviously not like fucking blown away. It's not like the best thing I've ever seen, but it's good. And I'm not gonna hold against it. That's like, oh, it should have just been a Q Ranger adapt. Yeah, obviously, but that's not. I don't hold that against it because that's not what it is.
Yeah, we shouldn't be judging something from what it should have been. We should be judging it for what it turned out to be.
And
And
I
it
think it
turns out
turned
to
out
be
pretty
a good
good.
thing.
I'm
It's like,
so bad. We got to get our synergy on that. I just did it again right now. We got to get our synergy on point. I've realized how horrid I am at interrupting you on these podcasts.
it's fine. I'm used to it.
I'm a steam train. It's hard for me to stop.
Yeah, well, I guess it kind of works because I don't talk a lot in regular conversation anyway. It's
That's
like
true.
I'm the
That's fair.
perfect
You do.
host for
I
this.
did it again. I did it again, everybody.
Keeps happening, but oh well.
I'm
I'll
gonna
just
try
say
to be better. You gotta interrupt me. You gotta take that stick harder. That's kind of this for this show to work.
yo.
Interruption. I said stick. Damn it! It might rhyme with the other word, but it's not the other word. Um, but regardless, like yeah, for this show to work, interruption kind of has to happen because my premise is I have to sit here and I have to describe to the people the entirety of what happened in the episode beat by beat. So it's hard to like leave stopping points for you. So I kind of like need you to snatch it away.
I don't know how to do that. Is my problem because
Just gotta pipe up. You gotta be like, hey, and I'll let you go.
I was the two issues with that is one, during childhood I was always brought up to be someone that doesn't interrupt because it's just polite, manners.
You've been trained.
I've
You
been
have to
trained.
break your conditioning to do this.
And two, there's another condition that I can't break. I have a stammer. So if I'm trying to say
Ah.
hey at some point, but you breeze past, and it's like, ah, crap, he's gone right past it, and I didn't have enough time to even say hey,
I'll try to
which
be a
is
more attentive co-host. This is like marriage counseling. I'll try to be more aware of your needs, Nightster.
see, this is why we almost got that divorce.
Yeah, this is why I got the papers, but you wouldn't sign them, and now we're trying to make it work. So just, I already had to sign one set of divorce papers for this show. Don't, don't make it a second.
Do you know how much this those papers cost?
Yeah, I'm having to produce so many of them lately. You know, the kids still haven't recovered from losing Crow royalty. Can't make them lose you too.
Oh my god, it's true though. It's just true.
Anyway, we should probably get back to talking about Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. I wanted to make sure this one does not struggle to hit an hour.
Oh,
Just making sure.
it definitely won't struggle. I
No,
highly
there's a
doubt.
lot to say. There's a lot to say about the rest of this episode and the next. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they take Ion and they return to the ship. Slather's like, yeah, Ion's alive, but like his brain's going crazy in there and like he's not waking up. And then
And he was like,
the,
"Oh, I'm a doctor of circus, not medicine."
he did say he was a doctor of circus, which is pretty great.
Oh, I love Slimer so much, man.
He's so good.
It's probably one of my favorite redeemed villains.
I'm almost like Slither and Mucus are almost producing like literally the exact feeling that Toxica and Gindrax make me feel. And that's high praise, because I love Toxica and Gindrax.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. So again, I feel like Toxica and Gindrax might have also joined the circus, but I might be projecting that. But regardless, so the Rangers find the Master Captivator as energy in the mountains. So they're like, Zed's probably up there. He's probably going to turn into a Morphin Master, and it's going to make him even more powerful than the Nemesis Beast, which I assume is the villain from the end of Dino Fury, because I don't remember the name.
Let me just fact check. Nemesis Beast. Nemesis Beast is a gargantuan human monster. Yeah, but where's he from? Uh,
Because I thought
the
Void Queen
the
was the final boss, but does Void Queen like awaken Nemesis Beast? And I just don't remember that.
the final antagonist of Dino Fury.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah,
Indeed, we are correct. So
I'll
yeah,
do a bit more
so
research on
basically
that.
they're fucked. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I was saying I'll do a bit more research if the page decides it wants to not turn fully white.
I congratulate. Good job, Ranger Wiki. We love Ranger Wiki. No problems with Ranger Wiki.
I love how you knew it was Ranger Wiki from me saying that.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, there were problems with it. It was probably Ranger Wiki.
It's like it was fine, and then it just decided, hey, I'm going to turn white and not show you anything of what you want to see.
Power Ranger fans really do. There's probably a lot of fandoms that are this way. I know some fandoms have like real wikis that somebody programmed from scratch that are actually good. Like I think Minecraft has a competent wiki. That's one example I know. But most fandoms just have to deal with a fandom wiki, and fandom wiki is the worst, and I hate it.
Yeah, it just sucks balls.
Is it still all white, or have we found any answers about Nemesis Beast?
This site can't be reached. The fuck?
Well, at least we know he's the final villain of Dino Fury. That's really all I needed to know. I get it. So regardless, they're gonna go get Zed. Javi and Fern are like, we got the element of surprise, so that's good because they probably think we're dead or
Oh,
something. But then Ollie's like, we need a new thing. What if we combine all of our things and it makes a big thing? And this is a revelation we're coming to in episode 9 of 10. Which I guess we only had all of the weapons available in episode 9 of 10. But that is again a folly of the fact that this show only has 10 fucking episodes. God damn it.
yeah, they could have like found a way to maybe have multiple weapon combinations like they did in uh I think Dino Thunder did that where um they could combine the three core weapons, but they could also combine the Brachio Staff and the Drago Sword onto the Z-Rex Blaster.
Yeah, that would have worked too if they did something like that. But like, just even this show should have had 40 episodes. Every other show gets 40 fucking episodes. This show only got 10, which is fucked. If the show had 40 episodes, I assume that Ollie turning good would have been used as the mid-season finale or the finale of season 1. And then we could have had season 2 to have a team blaster. But we only have 10 episodes, so this all had to be encompassed in 2.
Yeah. I've also just found out that the Nemesis Beast is kind of like a a villain Megazord.
Okay.
And
Yeah, no, I remember that now. You're right.
and Void Queen was at the heart of it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Nemesis Beast now. Um
Another
but yeah.
pause. I think I just heard some kind of a knock. This time
Oh,
I will mute. Alright, I'm back.
welcome back. Okay. So yeah, they're gonna make a big weapon. They get to
Yeah,
work.
big blaster.
Uh and then Solon looks at Zayto's old morpher, which is also sitting on the table. And wouldn't you know it, Zayto's cosmic orb, instead of glowing zenith, everyone's favorite color, is glowing blue. Isn't
Yeah, and
that crazy?
I think Solon even mentioned something about it. She's like, "Would you look at that?" Or
Yeah,
something of the sort.
it's like, okay, but how does that happen though? Because like it's not because it's the Triceratops in there. We're gonna see it. It's gonna zoom into it during the morph sequence. There's a Triceratops in there, not a Tyrannosaurus. It's like what happened in there?
Maybe the crystal shows Ollie ate. And I was like, well,
Dog
Zaya doesn't
attack.
need, yeah, dog attack. Like Zaya doesn't need this power right now, but Ollie sure does. So let's give him something to work with.
Yeah,
And
our boy needs something. We gotta give him something. It was just the Zayto. No, because Zayto wasn't a Morphin Master yet. We see him become a Morphin Master, I think, because like, but we also see him as not him before that, and he's not a Morphin Master. I don't think.
yeah, but right now he's already like mortally dead. So the Morphin Masters themselves might have just been like, Zato doesn't need the Ranger Orb anymore.
Can the Morphin Masters still make decisions? Aren't they in a jar hanging out with Zed?
True. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I actually forgot about that for a second.
So it's weird, but I'm willing to accept it. We go back to Eltar. No, we don't. Is it a mountain on Eltar or is it a mountain on Earth?
Isn't it on like
It's on Zordnia, isn't it?
yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it was Zornia.
Yeah, it's on Zordnia. Thanks, Ranger Wiki. Thanks again.
Like like it looks like Zornia.
Yeah. So they're on Zordnia, which is of course the planet where they first found the Cosmic Fury powers. The planet where Javi lost his arm. There's a whole lot going on, and we go there. Zed is all Morphin Master tubed up. Izzy covers her eyes as they teleported, and she's like, "Let me guess, big chair, tubes." Uncovers her eyes. Wow, how original!
Yeah, that was funny. I love Izzy
Um,
so much.
and Zed's like, "I don't care about your quips. I'm gonna kill you all. I'm having a great time over here.
Haha,
Uh,
I'm evil.
I'm evil. I hate you, you ninnies." I don't remember if this is what he says, ninnies, but I know he says it, which
Yeah,
absolute cinema.
you messaged me that point. You're like, he said ninnies cinema.
Cinema, absolute cinema. I, I just, it's something that he used to say. Again, the nostalgia works on me.
Which
But
we'll get back to at
we'll
some
get
point.
back to there's a certain bit about nostalgia with Zed, which I'll say, not as bad as I thought it was gonna be in a way. We'll talk about it. Uh,
We will.
so, so anyway, so they're on Zordnia. Zed has all the power, and he's like, "Oh, you guys got out of the trap. Oh, but not all of you. That's sad." And Javi's like, "Hey, fuck you."
Can you imagine if he actually said "fuck
Yeah,
you"?
yeah. Just suddenly, this becomes a much different show. This particular episode is rated PG-13. They get one fuck. Did Power Rangers the 2017 movie use its one fuck?
I don't know. I'm gonna have
Because
to
that was
check.
a PG-13 movie, so they got one fuck to use.
I'm gonna check the script. Like I'll find a transcript online, search in the word "fuck." I'll get back to you on that. But
Okay.
I highly
Do they
doubt
say
it.
fuck in the Power Rangers movie? Let's find. Yeah, I don't really doubt it. They were trying to be like edgy and PG-13. I don't doubt that. I bet it was Kim. If anybody said fuck in that movie, I bet it was Kimberly Hart. That's my call. But anyway, Zed carves a Z into the mountainside, and then the Power Rangers start negging him about how it's an N actually, which is also pretty good.
Yeah.
It's
They,
perfect because like this has always been what Zed has had to deal with. It's just like annoying teenagers, and this is just it's a fun, charming way to drive that home. Where the Zed feels like he's king of the world and he's about to win, and his final challenge are these annoying fucking teenagers who are currently doing a comedy bit about this Z that he drew into the side of a mountain.
oh, okay. So I found out the answer to the Power Rangers bit on
Okay.
the movie. They kind of led to one. They didn't go full hog with it.
They say "fuck" and the scene cuts off.
Kind of. It was Billy the first time in their Zords. It was he was like, "Yippee ki yay, motherfucker! Mother's good. Mother's good."
How dare they? They really teased us with it. You had the power. You could have done it.
They did say shit and like bitch and quite a few other swears, but
I feel like I recall bitch. I feel like that was also Kimberly's doing.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Kim said bitch.
Which sounds like something the real Kimberly would say if she existed in real life. She obviously doesn't because she's in a kids show, but like
Yeah, like if the original Power Rangers wasn't like for kids,
if this were
I
an R-rated
imagine
show, the
I
lost
imagine she
episode
would have said it.
title.
I imagine she would have sworn quite a few times, including bitch.
But regardless, so after this comedy bit about the end, and Amelia's like, Lord Zed doesn't scare us, but he's like, it's Master Zed, thanks to your boyfriend who sucks now, and it's kind of rude that you even brought him. He can't even morph. And then Ollie's like, you sure about that? You stupid bitch.
Yeah, but a bitch.
So then they morph, including Ollie. We see Ollie in his regular, boring Cosmic Fury suit.
And he says it's all. He's all about the upgrades. Dude, that's a downgrade.
Yeah, that's true. But regardless, it's an upgrade in their hearts.
Yeah.
So they start fighting Zed. Or they do the Cosmic Blaster that they worked so hard on, and it just doesn't work. No big fanfare. It's just like they shoot it, don't do nothing to him.
Yeah, it does nothing.
And then he steals it, or he has Sentinels steal it, and they shoot it at the Power Rangers. So that's unfortunate for them.
Doesn't that
Uh,
happen after though? Because wasn't that with Bajilia?
oh, it might have been post Bajilia. Let's see. I was doing that thing where I stop reading and I try to remember, and then I miss things.
Because I think they have Izzy and Fern try and distract him by running around and firing blasts, and he's like, "Can't blame me for trying."
No, because Scrozzle comes in and he immediately like Zed gets captured like immediately. So this is pre Scrozzle and Vigilia. It's just he has some Sentinels there. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe I might be remembering it wrong.
But regardless, Rangers get shot by the cannon. They're hurt and stuff. And they start running around and like trying to not get shot. And they Amelia and Ollie are like hiding together, and then Ollie immediately makes me not having missed him by immediately starting to mansplain. You've been back for
Yeah.
5 minutes, Ollie. God damn it. Amelia's the leader of the team now. Show some fucking respect.
Yeah, shut your dumb ass up.
Your stupid mouth. But they're talking. They figure out a plan. They're like, we're gonna get Zed. We're gonna because Zed is a Morphin Master now. So how do you get a Morphin Master? You put him in the Master Captivator. So they decide they're gonna put him in the Master Captivator. But oh, somebody else shows up instead, and it's Scrozzle, and Vigilia. And Scrozzle loads the cannon, and Zed's like, I don't need your help, Scrozzle, get the fuck out of here. And then Scrozzle shoots it at Zed. And
Oh,
Zed. Good.
we missed something during the fight, and they actually
Okay.
call the Zords, and Zed just destroys them
Oh
from the start.
yeah, it's so completely inconsequential that I forgot to mention it. Yeah, this is the least important the destruction of the Zords has ever been in Power Rangers history, maybe. Like they just were like, okay, time to call the Zord. Which this is another legacy reference because Javi says, okay, time to escalate. Because if you'll recall, one of the rules of Power Rangering is never escalate a battle unless you're forced.
That's true.
So they make a little cheeky reference to that. Javi says it's time to escalate, and they call the Zords. And then Zed just shoots them, and they die.
This also just wiped out.
They come out, and then they come out like we don't even see them all get blown up, but I guess maybe it's implied the rest of them do off screen. But we just see like 3 or 4 fly in, and then Zed just like boom dead, boom dead, boom dead.
Oh, boom, boom.
So yeah, the Zords didn't work out for him as it turned out. But yeah, now Zed has been captured, and it's a big twist. And the TV guy who interviewed Vigilia a few episodes ago is back. And he interviews her, and she's like, "Yes, I betrayed Lord Zed, and now there's gonna be bad and war forever, because I'm gonna do the bad wave, which is not like the good wave from Zordon. It's Squid Ink whatever. Is it just Squid Ink? Is that the name of the company?
Squid Ink Inc.
Oh, it's even worse. Okay, Squid Ink Inc.
Because it's Squid Ink Incorporated.
Yeah, so Squid Ink Inc. Is gonna take over the world, and they're gonna create an evil wave, which is literally the same as the Zordon wave, even though she claims that it's not. But it's opposite though. It's gonna destroy all the good instead of all
There
the
are,
evil.
there are no similarities. That's what
Which
she says.
raises the question: what? Okay, so they're implying again that the Zordon wave is meant to erase all evil in the universe, which for a long time the fan base has been willing to headcanon that out and be like, okay, it's only the evil that Zordon knows about. Which this seems to be, I guess, not directly contradicting, but implied to be contradicting it. And then that raises the question about this wave, and it's like, if that is true, if it's only evil that Zordon knows about, would this only destroy good that Zed knows about, and thus not really be that bad? Well, it'd be bad, but like heroes would rise again.
Yeah. Or like, would it permanently corrupt like everything? So even if people had kids, they'd be inherently bad or something because it's just in everyone's blood.
I doubt it goes that far, because the Zordon wave didn't make everybody good.
True, but it might work differently because it's not exactly the same thing. It's
Yeah, it's not different at all. It's not saying even a little bit. So that's what's going on. And then a scene happens, which, okay. So I've been saying for the last few episodes that I would like to see, even though I know they're not in the show. The people themselves are not in the show. I was hoping, because this is the end of Power Rangers as we know it. The new show is going to be a reboot, new universe. This is the end of Power Rangers, the television show that ran from 1993 to 2023. I was hoping that perhaps we might see an in-suit appearance of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And in this episode, where Solon says, "Any Ranger teams that can hear us, we need help," and then we cut away from her and don't cut back for the rest of the episode, and then the episode ends with a countdown that's almost over for the Power Rangers to be destroyed, I really thought that the end result of that countdown was going to be that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers showed up and saved them, which I texted you as this
You
cliffhanger was
did.
set up. I was like, I think they might be setting up the thing that I was hoping they would do. Which it turns out I was wrong, but only a little.
Slightly wrong.
Slightly wrong. So
But I'm very
regardless,
glad that out of all the people that they could have brought back for this, they brought back the one that they did.
yeah, but I don't know if I'm thrilled about it because I figured if any other one was going to come back, it was going to be her, but I figured it was going to be out of suit. But you know,
How would that work, though?
figured she would just okay, we're talking about Min. No more vagaries because we have to have this conversation.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So, I thought Cosmic Fury came before Once and Always, though. So that's what I
People
was.
seem to be thinking that that's true, but I
That's
don't
what I
think that's
was.
ever really said. I never
Is
thought it because I figured they would be more clear about it. Like, I guess the one thing is, like, people were interpreting Billy's interest in bringing Zordon back as, like, a setup for Once and Always. But Once and Always ends with him being like, maybe I can still bring Zordon back. So it still makes sense that he'd be very interested if he heard that Ion might have met the spirit of Zordon. Spoilers for the next episode.
Cosmic Fury takes place after the events of Once and Always. Okay, yeah. So that was Min.
That
Okay.
was Min, yes. Which in that case, I was expecting her to come back because they made up a whole new fucking Power Ranger in this movie that came out in like 2022 or 2023. I figured she was gonna be in the new Power Rangers show and not only appear once ever. But I guess not. I guess kind of, but not in person.
Well, yes, but actually, no.
Well, yes, but actually no, exactly. Like I figured I was convinced like in the early stages I was like Min's gonna be like a, how I guess in King Oger the red Kyryuger just joins their team for a while. That is what I thought was gonna happen.
That happens.
I think it's a different red Kyryuger and it might not actually make it out of the movie, but I think it might.
Ah, the movie thing. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I think it bleeds into the show. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it does. Maybe it wasn't even a movie. I think it was the show. It was the show actually. Whatever. Well,
I really
join
need to
us in
finish.
2028 when we review King Oger on Toku Thrill.
Yeah, if we get there at that point.
That probably is one of the primary ones I'd want to cover on that show because like here's I'm like segmenting my watching of Sentai in a weird way where like there's a few seasons at the beginning that I have a podcast for. So those I'm watching separately that I'm listening to this podcast. And then on my own, I've been watching the more like mid to 2000s Sentais, and that seems to be where my vibes lie. And then Toku Thrill, we're reviewing Zenkaiger, and you seem to have more of an interest in modern Sentai, whereas I'm almost a little off put by modern Sentai. So I feel like I'm saving all the modern Sentai for Toku Thrill, and King Oger is probably like near the top of modern Sentai I'm interested in.
I'm just really into like possible new content for Tokusatsu. and Sentai.
I mean, I'm very interested to see what comes next for sure. I mean, I've been loving Gojuger. I finally got my hands on episode 10 and 11 because Toku Thrill they're not Toku Thrill, that's our YouTube channel. Toku Fun has been fucking around again, and they're not updating. Which we thought we thought Toku Fun was back in our corner. They pulled this shit during Boon Boomjer, I'm pretty sure. They just stopped updating for like 6 months. We thought they were back and they were gonna be here for us, but they have not updated Gojuger in now 2 episodes, and I had to have Crow Royalty find them in some Discord server and send them to me. They might be on Tokuzilla, but my internet router blocks Tokuzilla. If you try to go to Tokuzilla, it's
Weird.
like this website's not safe. Don't you can't go there.
Has a virus.
Yeah. So that's been my struggles in trying to watch Gojuger. But regardless, let's talk about this episode, which we're almost done with. We pretty much are done with. I think we've said everything that happens at the end. So yeah,
Uh, yeah, we literally went through the entire thing.
that's it. We did it. So yeah. Okay. So they set up this wave. They're gonna fire the blaster at the master captivator, to create the wave to kill everybody. And the TV guy starts a countdown. He gets all the way down to 2, and the episode ends. So Nightster. Oh, by the way,
Mm.
we forgot to mention. I don't know how I forgot to mention this because this is one of my. You see, it's both one of my strongest opinions, and it's not an opinion because I can't decide what my opinion is. So Zed, Master Zed, has a new look. He gets an upgraded appearance,
Oh yeah, it does.
which I don't know. I'm in this weird, like, temporal loop where I don't know if I think it's awesome or I hate it. Like I look at it and I feel both things at the same time. It's truly strange. It's like it's fucking sick as hell. It's metal as fuck, but it's like that's not what Lord Zed looks like. Like I think that's what the disconnect is for me. That like the design of Lord Zed is so sacred that you fuck around with it. It makes me upset. But it is cool as fuck. So it's very conflicting.
I like it, and it kind of gives me like Lord Draken vibes.
It is kind of
That's
Drakeny.
weird. Like, I thought I was insane, thinking that when I first saw it, I was like, this kind of looks like if Zed was Draken,
It's a
which
little
kind of makes,
Draken.
which actually makes sense because he's absorbed the Morphin Master powers, and Draken's whole story is that he killed the other Rangers and he stole their powers.
That's
Just
true, and
kind of,
like it does make sense also just like on a business level to kind of call back to Draken because like they can't use Draken because if they were going to use Draken, they were going to pay Jason David Frank an amount of money that would have gotten him to agree to play Draken, and he was no longer alive. So they weren't going to use Draken, but it makes sense that they kind of Drakened out the final villain because Draken is a very popular villain in the Power Rangers franchise that they can't really use in the TV show.
and this is the second time they've kind of called back to him because they had Lord Draven in Ninja Steel.
Was Lord Draven a Draken callback? Was he looking Drakeny?
He didn't look Drakeny, but his name, for one, Draven, and two, he had an army of Ranger Sentinels,
Oh, he
which,
did
like,
have an army of Ranger Sentinels. You're right.
you know, like Draken sentries. Like, yeah, and it's basically a Tommy episode.
I'm surprised they didn't just use Draken then at that point, because then they did have Jason David Frank in the studio.
But like his story in the comics seems a bit, um,
Yeah, a
yeah,
little too rough. I'm surprised they didn't just sanitize him though. I guess this was a better compromise because I'm sure that would have upset people.
yeah. I don't know. I really dig this new look for Zed. Like, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, we gotta do a quick pause, so we'll be back right now.
Ooh, all right.
All right.
I think we're just about to wrap up on the first episode with favorite characters and scenes, and we
Yes.
can move
So,
on to the
who was your
second.
favorite character in Master Plan?
I think I'm going to give it to Amelia, just because in this episode, if you look back on certain points, it really feels like the episode where she most like feels like a team leader.
Yeah,
And that,
this is like one of two episodes I could probably name where she really like leadered it up. Um, I'm trying to see if I can remember which one was the other episode that I'm thinking of. It might have been Takeoff, but don't quote me on that. It's my best guess. But regardless, yeah, she showed a lot of maturity as a leader here. She had that scene with Billy. She made the decision to take the risk. You know, classic Red Ranger move. Yeah, as tempting as it is to give it to Inkworth because of him trucking the Power Rangers and getting to go out and die a warrior's death, a glorious warrior's death. Inkworth will go on to Valhalla.
Inkworth,
um,
you fool!
but I'm gonna have to give it to Amelia as well. Amelia, you finally hit the board.
Twice in one episode.
Yeah, she was real good, and of course the showing of maturity as a leader, where even when Ion is in her face, not willing to accept Zayto's death, she knows that it is what it is, and she just pays her goodbyes.
Yeah, man, that scene hit hard.
It really did. I was
And
almost
but
tempted to give it to Zayto this episode too, obviously because of his sacrifice, but not to diminish that. But ultimately, I went with Amelia.
yeah, but favorite scene though.
Hmm. Favorite scene in this episode? I'm gonna say it's the Z bit. Like genuinely, just the perfection in scene framing of Lord Zed getting negged by a group of teenagers. The his truest suffering for all time. I guess we'll talk about his real truest suffering for all time soon, but his
Yeah,
true real suffering of all time is just dealing with a bunch of annoying teenagers, and never is that better established by them just like in the face of almost certain doom, just doing this comedy bit about the letter that he just drew into a mountain to prove how powerful he is. Like I just really like that scene. It's good. That'll be my choice.
you ninnies. Our favorite scenes are pretty close because my favorite is the action side of the Rangers versus Zed.
Oh, I
Because
forgot. You're not just watching Power Rangers because it's secretly a soap opera. You also like the fighting.
and the fighting in that scene was so well done. Like it was really cool just to watch Zed just kick ass.
It was pretty cool. Super Zed, conflicted but pretty cool. Yeah, you know, and I almost said we don't have to rank it because it's a two-parter, but it's not. It's just that this whole show is a contained plot, so we do have to rank it. So where does it go?
Pretty high, I think.
Pretty high, I would say. In fact, it's not better than Operation Seasoning. I think I spoiled that earlier when I said that Dino Fury Season 1's finale and Operation Seasoning were in competition for my favorite episode of this particular group of Power Rangers in general. So I think I've spoiled that much that Operation Seasoning is not getting toppled today unless Nightster has a particularly strong argument.
I do
But
not.
I do think that this is probably better than Lightning Strikes. I really was into this episode.
Yeah, me too. It had me on the edge of my seat.
So we new number two. We're in agreement
New number
then.
two. Yeah, new number two.
Coming in at number two, Master Plan.
Even though I think there's going to be another new number 2 by the end of this. Not going to
Maybe
lie.
so. Maybe so. Just gotta fix the numbers. Don't mind me. Which really, I could just wait until the next one to do if I was smart, but it will bother me too much because my brain is a flawed little piece of flesh. All right, there we go. Now we gotta talk about the very aptly named The End.
Yep. In the end.
The end of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. The end of Power Rangers, the television series that ran from 1993 to 2023. The end of I guess not all things because we know more is coming, but the end of most things at the very least.
And 30 years.
30 years of content has come to this moment. Aired September 29th, 2023, obviously. Written by Becca Barnes and Alwyn Dale. Directed by Michael Hurst. And here we go. The end of the Power Rangers as we know them. So we open in a void. In a mysterious white void. And Ion is there. And he wakes up and he's like, what the hell? Where am I? And who's there waiting for him? But Zayto. But
With
Zayto's
some
got,
really nice eyes.
yeah, he's got some weird glowy eyes. Ooh, spooky.
Just bright blue.
Before we can learn much about why Zayto has bright blue eyes, we go to Bajilia, and we get a rundown of the countdown once again. But the countdown is interrupted not by the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but by Mucus and Slither, which prompted me to text you false alarm, which which would later be retracted,
Not
but not all the way. But yeah, so they get interrupted by Mucus and Slither. They've stolen a squid drill and are now shooting lasers. They kill the interviewer, and they distract everybody so that the Cosmic Fury Rangers can escape with the Master Captivator. But before they escape with the Master Captivator, a Sentinel gets smashed into it and it cracks a little bit.
Oh no.
Oh no. So that's what's going on with the regular Power Rangers in the real world. Back to the White Void.
Back to
Ion. Go ahead.
that was it. I just said back to Ion.
Back to Ion. Back to you, Ion.
In the studio.
Back to Ion in the studio. But yeah, he's in the White Void still. He gives a hug to Zayto, and he's like, "Oh, my friend." And Zayto's like, "You are mistaking me for somebody else. The mind is a powerful thing. You're seeing what you want to see." What? But why? Is that just how ghosts work in Power Rangers? Like why? Why is Ion seeing what he wants to see when he looks upon the spirit of Zordon?
I don't know.
Which, by the way, the show does not say this outright, but they wink and nudge you in the kids show way. Where yeah, it's Zordon, guys. This is Zordon who we're looking at here.
100% it's Zordon.
Which I almost kind of like the show having the necessary self-control to not just say it. Like, they obviously imply it, like, the hardest ever, which I know they have to do that, at least, because it's a kid's show. But kind of props for not just, like, being like, yeah, that was Zordon.
And not only do they hint towards it being him, but they kind of give, well, spoilers, a little hint, hint, nudge, nudge, to the possibility of Zordon's return, with Billy saying he's gonna go and look for him.
Whoa, what if the reboot doesn't actually reboot anything, but the plot is that they bring Zordon back, and
No,
then
the
Zordon just
reboot
picks some new
is
teenagers?
he's rebooting the actual team.
Yeah. He's like, what are you all fucking doing? I told you to retire 25 years ago. I'm getting
Mind
new
you,
kids.
I'm getting new kids. I'm going to the foster home.
The whole point of the Power Rangers is child slavery. Were you not paying attention?
You're not children anymore. You're useless to me.
Silly stuff. Silly stuff.
Always. That will never change.
True. Real. And I've now lost the article again because my phone is incapable of basic things.
Oh my god. I mean, I've got the episodes. I could literally just scrub through and explain what's happening.
No, because that's cheating.
How is
That's
that
cheating the
cheating?
system.
There is no
You see, what you're doing right
cheating.
now is you're trying to beat the system, and you can't beat the system. That's what I've learned.
The podcast, not a video game.
You can't. You can't beat the system. The system's gonna beat you. This is a level 9 CPU. It's over.
Oh no. I'm only geared for level 2 stuff.
Yeah, you can't even beat the normal guy on Mortal Kombat.
The hell up.
Actually, I think you did beat the normal guy,
I
but
didn't do it
you
normal.
struggled.
I struggled a lot.
So regardless, it's not Zayto. And Ion's like, "What are you talking about? You are Zayto. We gotta go stop Lord Zed. Because we're the Power Rangers." And Zayto, or I'll just say Zordon. Zordon is like, Power Rangers, Lord Zed. This sounds familiar to me. So it's yeah, obvious. They're really pushing it, obviously.
You
But
are unknown to me.
I do not know you, but I have heard those words before. And then he's like, I could send you back so you could help. Or no. That's the next scene. In this scene, it's just Ion says, "Hey, can you like check the grid?" Because he said he's connected to the grid. So he's like, "Yo, can you like check the grid and see if Zato's in here?" And Zordon's like, probably."
Yeah, bro, sure.
And tries.
Let me try it.
Then we go back to this. Ranger Wiki seems extremely convinced that the climax of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury occurs on planet Eltar, but it's definitely Zordia. So, just outside Zordia, uh, Mucus and Slither are destroying stuff, trying to blast through the squid drills. But unfortunately, their squid drill gets destroyed. But they're able to eject in time, so they do not die, thankfully. Then the Rangers get a message from Billy. And who's sitting there but Min in suit, not a word to say, just, hey, here I am. Just like Alpha was in the background of a shot, didn't get to speak. They've now done that with a Power Ranger.
And she's just looking at the camera like, hey, I'm here.
I feel like she kind of like has like a little reaction when they talk about the evil wave. I don't remember if that's in this exact scene or if it's in like a coming up one. But they mentioned like, whoa, the evil wave's gonna destroy all the good in the world. Min's head kind of twitches. She's like, come again?
I'm pretty sure it's the other scene because I remember we see Billy's face when they're talking to him about that wave.
Yes, and in this scene he has the
Yeah,
helmet on.
he has the helmet on, so it's not this scene.
Yeah. So Billy's like, we're here. And then a rift opens up, revealing the Dino Megazord. So assumedly the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are here, I guess, unless it's just Billy and Min driving it. Then there's the Astro Megazord from Power Rangers in Space.
Yeah.
The Galaxy Megazord, which I assume is from Lost Galaxy. I don't even remember seeing it. It's just on this list. The Ninja Blaze Megazord, which is from Ninja Storm? Question mark.
That's definitely Ninja Steel. Like
It's from
I'm
Ninja
looking at it.
Steel. Okay, I thought it had like a Shurikenger star in it, which is why I thought it was Ninja Storm.
Like I'm looking at the legs, and those are the symbols that Sarah and Haley have on their
I probably
helmets.
literally saw like the Digit symbol, like it was probably literally like the fucking Nexus prism, and I confused it for the Shinkenger star, so that's on me. So that's
Yeah,
from Ninja
right.
Steel. And also the Beast X Megazord, which is of course from Beast Morphers.
Yes, it is.
Which it's weird how like so what the fuck is the name of the agency in Beast Morphers? It's suddenly leaving me right as I'm about to talk about it. Grid Battle Force.
Yeah, Grid Battle
Uh,
Force.
Grid Battle Force has had like influence on this season at multiple times, but they never did like a real crossover, and that's kind of frustrating. Cause like they nod it back to Grid Battle Force and the Beast Morpher Power Rangers a good few times, and we never get it visited upon with a true crossover.
Yeah, and the only hints to a crossover that we actually got with Cosmic Fury was with the fact that Billy is in it and Heckle is in it.
Yeah, they
That's it.
crossed over with these old Dino shows, but not with Beast Morphers. And even if Dino Fury was when it would have made sense to do a Beast Morphers crossover. And I think we see the Beast Morphers Rangers like on screen in like the finale of Dino Fury, like briefly. But we never get a real crossover.
No, we don't. It's
I
kind
also
of
did
sad.
finish Beast Morphers recently and had no idea that it ended with Steel becoming a human man.
Yeah, I was holding on to that one.
And he still has the goofy voiceover voice, even though it's definitely not coming out of that guy who's playing Steel's mouth.
Definitely not yet. And that's one of the few cases where you can really tell.
You can tell
Like,
pretty much every time they do it if it's not somebody in a helmet. Like you could tell pretty heavily with Rita. You could tell
oh
pretty
yeah,
heavily with fucking. There was
James,
another example I had in my head. Who?
James from Dino Charge.
Oh yeah, he was voiceover. Yeah, and like almost any kid ever to appear in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
James was more subtle, but you can mostly tell because he barely moved his mouth when he spoke. Like, and the
No,
lip syncing.
for some reason I thought maybe Lee and Bo was that way too, but I don't think that's true.
Uh, Scorpino, obviously.
Yeah,
I guess that I forget his name, but the giant head guy from Mighty Morphin, like the crystal head.
Crystal
De-
Head guy.
yeah, Deco, something like that. And the guy that sent them to the weird dimension when they met Quagmire.
The guy who said that the Island of Illusion. Lokar?
Lokar, yeah.
Okay.
And why did I say Deca? That's Samurai.
Yeah, that's way later.
That's way late. What's wrong with my brain?
Regardless, we're on a deep tangent.
Yeah, very deep. Uh, Megazords have showed up,
Megazords. Old Megazords. You remember them? They're back.
and they're
Uh,
terribly CGI'd.
and they're bad CGI.
Ew! What the fuck?
I mean, like, it could be worse. Like, it's not Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie bad, but I'm
Oh,
comparing 2023 CGI to 1994 CGI when I say that. So it's not a big accolade.
yeah, it's quite a big difference in time there.
But regardless, the crack on the Captivator is becoming bigger. And this is when Billy calls back. And they say that Bajilia betrayed Zed. And Billy's like, well, we'll keep holding off the squid drills until we find a solution. And this is when they're briefing him about the evil wave. And Min is like, come again? Excuse me? Which is
Yeah,
really funny in my head that at this moment, Min is mid Megazord fight, and she is just now finding out that her life is really at risk.
yeah. The
It's like
second,
they do this all the time, but it's not usually there's a thing that's about to explode that will destroy all of good.
it's a funny thing because she's heavily focused on piloting, um, the Megazord. But the second Billy mentions it's going to be the inverse of Zordon's good wave, her head snaps right to
Yeah,
where he's filming.
like fucking what?
She's like, "What the fuck?"
So that's where we leave them. They're gonna help hold him off. Then we go back to the void.
Ion
And
and Zordon.
with Ion and Zordon has found Zayto. And he's like, but he's like, yeah, I know he's like really special to you, and the universe would be better with him in it, but unfortunately, his mortal life is over. And Ion gets sad. And then Zordon's like, your fellow Rangers need you, and I'm gonna return you to the real world so you can do what you can. There was a phrase I used to say in times like this: "May the power protect you." Wow, I wonder who this could be, Nightster. Who could this
And
possibly be?
oh my god, big reveal!
Whoa. So Ion wakes up. And they meet. He meets up with everybody else. Izzy gives him a hug. And Ion starts talking like he knows what's going on, and Izzy's like, "Did you read my mind when I hugged you?" And Ion's like, "It's
It's
quicker."
bigger.
So they're like, "Yeah, okay." So this is fucked because there's gonna be a wave. It's gonna be just like Zordon's wave from 25 years ago. It's gonna reach every corner of the universe. And Javi's like, man, if only we had the Morphin Masters to help so they could bring it into the grid. And they're like, but wouldn't the explosion fuck up the Morphin Masters? So we couldn't do that. And then Ollie's like, wait, but the Morphin Masters aren't there. So if we put it in the Morphin grid, maybe that'll stop it. But they're like, but what if we lose our powers? And then, and then Fern's like, hey, I'm just gonna step in here. I know I've only been a Power Ranger for like 2 seconds, but obviously, if it's either that or all of good in the world gets destroyed, we obviously do that. And everybody agrees. Which good on you, Fern. Good moment. Good finale moment. I'm
Yeah,
glad that
very.
Fern. I'm glad that Fern gets something, because unfortunately she got very little.
Yeah, like it's kind of sad how little she got.
Yeah,
So it's
only
nice
we
to
got
know.
more than 10 fucking episodes. Hasbro. You see, the Hasbro rage is not entirely unwarranted co-royalty. They do deserve it a little bit.
Yeah,
So wait a minute. I think we've been fucking up this whole time. I think they were on Eltar, and now they're going to Zordnia.
really.
Yeah.
And it looks a lot like Zordon where they were before.
I thought, yeah, that you're right, which is why I confused it for
Oh,
Zordia.
yeah,
But
no, 'cause, Amelia says there's only one place that they have ever been able to access the morphing grid directly.
it's Zornia.
And
Yeah, yeah,
Zordon,
yeah. Okay,
and then
okay.
Ollie, no, I'm not Ollie. Freaking
Javi looks
Harvey.
at his arm like, ooh,
Yeah.
I remember Zordia.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
they go to Zordnia for the first time in this episode. They they're trying to open a portal to the morphing grid. Meanwhile, the Captivator is about to blow even more. The time is running out. And Javi's like, I got this. I did it last time. Here we go. And Izzy's like, no, no, we're gonna do it together. And Ollie's like, wait a minute. Maybe if we did it all together, that would work, and none of us would lose our limbs. But Bajilia shows up because she was on the ship secretly, and she tries to murder them. But then Javi does a sick deflection with the staff. So they do that. The Rangers quickly morph, so that they can fight off Bajilia and make sure she doesn't destroy the Captivator. And they do that, and they do destroy Bajilia. This is wraps on Bajilia.
Yeah.
But the Discord or discard blaster is what this is called. What Major Mickey is calling this, and her discard blaster. It hits the captivator. The crack glows even bigger. So they're like, "Oh shit, we got to do this shit now." And they insert the staff into the altar, or they're about to insert the staff, but it just goes flying. And
Yep.
then, who floats down but Zayto, who is
Not
now
Zordon Zayto, real Zayto.
the real Zayto, and not just is he real Zayto, he's a Morphin Master now. He's become one officially, even though he kind of was a little bit one already. Now he is one for actual serious.
Somehow.
Somehow. That doesn't make sense. Not really, but you know. So he's now a Morphin Master, and he's like, we gotta go. And then he sends them and himself inside of the Master Captivator. So now they're in there. And Zed is there, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, Power Rangers! But his zap doesn't work. And they try to counter zap him, and their zaps also don't work. Which means that this dimension has the same properties as Santa's Workshop. That is a reference Nightster doesn't get yet, but we'll get in season 3.
Yeah, I got nothing. Also, I don't actually think the Rangers tried to zap him. I think he tried to zap them twice.
No, definitely one of them at least tries to do like a little Morpher blast, because we see the Morpher like spark and not do the thing.
Hold on. Right, so Zed shows up, fires a blast. They get into a stance. He tries again.
I think when they get into the stance, one of them tries to Morpher blast him.
Oh, you're right. It was Ollie.
So yeah,
Ollie tries
they try to kill each other. That's what we've learned. And Azeto's like, we are all energy. And Izzy and Fern are like, because energy can't be created or destroyed. And Fern's like, ha, and you said physics wouldn't matter. Get it? Because they're in high school, everybody. Remember how that's the case? Uh, we've kind of ignored that for a while, considering the apocalypse has been happening. But well, I guess I guess she graduated to Dino Fury, huh? They're heading off to college. That was kind of the setup for this season. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Zayto's like, okay, Zed, listen, they're gonna do this thing, and they're gonna wipe out all good for the universe. And Zed's like, that's good. And Zayto says, but you're gonna die. And he's like, that's bad. And Zayto's like, but then we're also gonna die. And Zed's like, that's good.
I feel like you're referencing something.
I'm referencing a Simpsons bit.
That's good. That's bad.
That's good.
I've
but
heard that from somewhere.
but yeah, so Zed kind of delineates on it. It's Ollie who ultimately talks him into it. He's like, "Hey, you don't want to die, right? Maybe you don't have to be the strongest." And Zed's like, "That's stupid." Um, but then ultimately, he doesn't want to die, so he agrees. And Zayto removes the Morphin Masters from Zed's body, and is able to escape the dimension and get rid of the bad so that the evil wave won't happen anymore. And that's it. We did it.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just epilogue stuff, which we will go over. But this is the end. This is the climax. The threat has been neutralized.
Yeah, there's still one more little scene with Zed, and then one scene after that. But there's no more threats.
There's no more threats. The threat of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury has been taken down. Which, I don't know how I feel about this. Not the Zed scene. I obviously don't know how I feel about that, and we'll talk about that. But this ending, I mean. Like, it's
Yeah,
kind of
anticlimactic.
a little bit like it's a Talk No Jutsu style ending, and like I don't know. Well, like this last episode was so good at like ramping up and making you feel like a climax was coming. And this episode is a little bit less climactic than you would like it to be. There's climactic parts, obviously, like the Megazords and stuff, but like it's a little bit less climactic than it feels like it should be. It's not a bad episode. I'm not saying that, but it could have been better. Is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
But regardless, so that's done. And they did a foreshadow for this, by the way. I forget the name of the planet. I'm sure Nightster will look at that. But while he is, there was a planet they were in earlier on the show that causes you to see nightmares. I think this might have even been in Dino Fury that they went to this planet, now that I'm thinking about it. And they actually foreshadowed it earlier because that was Ion's like next idea when he found out that he was not in the Morphin Grid with Zayto. He was like, "Oh, I must be on this planet, and I must be having a nightmare." And Zordon's like, "No, you idiot! Stop! That's not what's happening."
Nibiru.
Nibiru, yes.
Yeah.
So they mentioned Nibiru earlier, and now we reveal we are on Nibiru, and we see Zed, who is now back in his normal form, and he's giant, and he's like, "Ha! I knew I would destroy the Power Rangers." But he obviously is not destroying the Power Rangers. I think you might even see the Power Rangers in the background of the shot.
Yeah, you
and,
do.
and he shrinks, and then there's Rita. And Rita's in like a face mask, and she has like the little cucumbers on her eyes. And she demands Zed refill her drink. And Zed's like, "You got fucking feet." They start bickering like husband and wife.
Yeah.
And this is where okay. So here's the premise. Okay, they're on Nibiru. Zed is living his worst nightmare. His worst nightmare is hanging out with Rita. I was told about this out of context, and it made me furious because Zed and Rita love each other. It is very clear that Zed and Rita love each other. This is a spoiler, but it's not like a massive spoiler, so it's fine. There was literally an episode in season 3 where, okay, so Zed and Rita, if you did not know, they initially fall in love because of a love potion. Rita love potions Zed, and that's what causes them to marry. Because initially Zed does not like Rita at all. So Rita love potions him, and they get married. And then there's a season 3 episode where Goldar's like, "Oh, Goldar found the love potion," and he's like, "I'm gonna expose Rita." And he works with Finster, and he gets the love potion reversed, and then Zed, nothing changes, and Zed still loves Rita, and Rita is his wife. So that's the proof that they truly love each other. So they make it very clear in Power Rangers that despite their evil nature, Zed and Rita truly love each other. But now Zed's truest nightmare is spending time with Rita, which made me frustrated when I heard about it. But then there's the part where he says out loud, "I hate how much I love her,"
Yeah, he does
which
mumble
ki-
that.
which kind of brings it back around, and it's this weird like toxic circle he's found himself in. Where although
Like,
he does love his wife's nagging is like the worst thing in his life, and now that's all he will experience for the rest of eternity. Okay, so it does make sense, but it's
it's
just
like,
I was told out of context that his worst nightmare is spending time with Rita, and that upset me. But it kind of works.
which technically it's not, because his worst nightmare isn't being with Rita, it's having to deal with how much she nags and drones on and consumes his
Yeah,
life.
all the worst parts of Rita, none of the
All,
good parts.
all, all he wants to do is kill the Rangers. But he can't do that because Rita's being naggy and wants him with her. That's his nightmare. Having to not do what he wants to do because his wife needs him.
Okay, yeah, so it kind of works. I still like don't love it on principle, but it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Zato's like, we put him in a spell, and the Nibiru orb which I assume was a character before. He seems very vaguely familiar. The orb of Nibiru is like,
I
yes,
didn't know Guardian. Yeah.
yes, unless he is a noble warrior, he'll be trapped here forever. And that's when they explain, they put in this weird little thing where they're like, even Lord Zed could be redeemed. So that's why I put him here, because if he becomes a noble warrior, then he can leave. But he kind of already did, which I guess is maybe why they're doing this. But then that raises the question of what happened. Because in Countdown to Destruction, if you don't know Nightster, Zed, the most of the bad guys just die. They fade to dust. Zed becomes just like a dude.
I did know this, yeah.
So what happened to Zed the dude? And why is he Zed the evil guy again?
I wonder if there's a reason for that.
Because it's like Rita, the woman, became Mystic Mother. We know what happened to Rita the woman. But Zed the man just fades into time. Like Mystic Mother didn't have a Mystic Father. And we never hear any sort of hide or hair of Zed again. And then Zed's just in Dino Fury and he's Zed again. Which I guess no, he does get brought back from when he was evil, so that part makes sense. But then like, what happened to Zed the man, and why isn't he even slightly perturbed that his evil version is taking over the world again?
Apparently, and take this with a grain of salt because it's from Reddit. This Zed that we're seeing here isn't actually the real Zed.
No, that's right.
It's a magic clone.
That's correct. It is a magic clone. But my
So
question is, where is Zed the man, and why is he not? You think he would care if there was an evil clone of him taking over the Earth? You think he might want to do something about that, or at least like go apologize to the Power Rangers or something? Like it seems like he would want to be involved.
I mean, it seems like there's quite a lot of things happening in Cosmic Fury in 10 episodes, which is another reason they should have expanded it to 40. But, like, it would have been just another thing to jam into a 10 episode space to get the good Zed conflict, if they even thought of it.
I also think Zed the man might have been played by the guy who played Zed the evil monster, who is now dead. So that might have something to do with it.
Maybe.
But it's
Or
weird
they could
because
just
like,
recast.
where did he go?
Couldn't they just recast him though? Because I swear, swear, unless there was a scene with him after, and the only clip we see of him is just him shaking about a bit and waving his hands as he transforms back.
Yeah, that's fair, but I could see them, like, the explanation I'm seeing in my head, I could see them being like, look, we already recasted Zed, the evil monster. We can at least keep the part of his legacy where, like, when he's human, he looks like Robert Axelrod. So we just don't see him as a human again, because Robert Axelrod is dead.
Yeah, makes sense.
I hope that was Robert Axelrod, and I'm not just talking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure it was Robert Axelrod.
Who played the good Zed? It's like the Lord Zed's human form, which was played by Ed Neal.
Oh no, Ed Neal is Zed, and I think he's also dead. It's hard to keep track. Ed Neal. Ed Neal, I think, is the body, like the guy who runs Zed Body, and Axelrod is the guy who voices him.
Yeah, he was the suit actor for Lord Zed, but he was also the actor that played human form, apparently. Yeah, Ed Neal, Lord Zed's suit actor.
Okay, yeah, and he also is dead. So my explanation does track. But anyway, so yeah, Zed is trapped in his infinite nightmare, and the Power Rangers leave. Uh, does anything really? Is there anything I'm missing? Because I've gotten rid of the article. I think it's just like they're in the spaceship and they want to go home, and then we go to Javi's concert. Is there anything big that I've missed?
Well, Zayto kind of joins
Oh yeah. Zayto's on the ship, and they say their goodbyes or whatever. Yeah.
And he joins up with the other Morphin Masters and grows.
Yeah. So we go to the ship. They're there with Zayto and the Morphing Masters, who they have now saved. And Zayto's like, "I'm gonna miss you guys," and they're like, "Oh, you have to go, don't you?" And I kind of like this angle. And I wish there were more than 10 episodes so we could maybe explore it a little bit. Like maybe this could have happened. There could have been like an epilogue episode where we explore this a little bit. But I like the idea of like the Morphing Masters are like almost intrigued by how Zayto handled the situation by like reasoning with Zed. Like, because that's obviously not how they would have handled it. So they're like shocked. And as Zayto's preparing to exit, they're like, "Yes, you have a lot to learn, and we have a lot to learn from you." So I like this idea that like the Morphing Masters are like these ethereal beings who like operate under some sort of like mystic code, and like what they're missing is like the human element. And Zayto, having been one of the most loyal like mortal Power Rangers that has ever lived, I guess, a little technically. He has now become a morphing master, and like now they have a human element, and like they have things they want to learn about like the human condition that Zayto can now teach them. And I like that concept, but unfortunately, we don't get to see much of it.
No. That'll be an interesting show, though, exploring more about the Morphin Masters.
Yeah, I would like to know why the Morphin Masters. That because that's been the question that's been in my mind since they showed up. And actually, again, I think they might have showed up in Ninja Steel, and I haven't seen that yet. But in Dino Fury, they're in there, and they're. It almost feels like okay. I had this thought recently because I've said this casually on the podcast, and now I'm not sure it's correct. Was Scrozzle introduced in Ninja Steel, or was Scrozzle introduced in Beast Morphers?
Ninja Steel, I'm pretty sure.
It was Ninja Steel. Okay, because there's this weird thing where it almost seems like Ninja Steel, or it almost seems like Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury are like direct continuations of Ninja Steel in a way, and that's weird because the Ninja Steel Power Rangers are not around, are not even mentioned really.
Oh,
But like there's so much like Mick is just like around. They know about the Nexus Prism. Scrozzle is there. There's just like all these weird threads that tie everything back to Ninja Steel. But the
never,
Ninja Steel Power Rangers are never heard from again.
never mind. I was, I was wrong. I could have sworn he was in Ninja Steel.
He was not?
Maybe no, he was not.
Okay. Well,
I just,
regardless.
but maybe I'm thinking of a Ninja Steel Beast Morphers crossover.
That might be what you're thinking. Well, no, there is no Ninja Steel Beast Morphers crossover.
Oh shit! Yeah, there's not. A Beast Morphers crossover with the Dino teams.
Yeah, Beast Morphers went back another year. They skipped Beast Morphers and went back another year to Dino Charge.
Yeah, but that's because the footage they had was scrambled
You would
because
think that, wouldn't you? You would think that, wouldn't you, Nightster? But that's not true. Because there are two crossovers in Beast Morphers. One of them is what you're thinking of, the Dino crossover that also has Mighty Morphin and Dino Thunder in it. One of them is just a normal ass crossover with Dino Charge for no reason.
oh yeah,
Like there's just an episode where Keeper shows up and Zoe accidentally puts him in danger. And they have to work with the Dino Charge Rangers to help Keeper. And they just put that in the season for no reason. There's were Go Busters and Kyryuger concurrent? I
I
guess they were, but their crossover was the Dino movie.
I
So
mean
where did this separate crossover come from? They just did it for no reason.
series. It went Go Busters, Kyoryuger, Tokyuger, and then Ninja.
Yeah. So Kiryuger and Go Busters were together, but their crossover was the Dino movie, right? They didn't have a separate Go Busters versus Kiryuger. It was that one, I assume.
Uh, no, there was a Kyoja versus Go Busters.
And it wasn't the Dino movie. That's a separate thing.
It. Oh no, that does look like the Dino movie. I can see the Abba Rangers and the Zoo Rangers.
Yeah, so that's the Dino movie. So it's very strange that they made that decision. It wasn't unwelcome necessarily. I enjoy the Dino Charge Power Rangers, but at the same time, I also enjoy the Ninja Steel Power Rangers and what happened to them because they still reverberate through the franchise in a lot of other ways, but they're
But
just
where
not
are they?
around. Yeah.
But yeah, there's still one scene to talk about, which I was excited this entire cast to get to this scene.
You mean like the ending scene?
Yeah, like the band scene.
Yeah, okay. So after the spaceship, Zayto departs with the Morphin Masters. They kind of have this last moment, this like beautiful little moment where Ion's like, "Well, we saved the universe. We got this sick ass spaceship. Anybody got anywhere they want to go?" And Amelia says, "Solon, let's go home." And it's like, oh, that's the place they want to go. Is home because they've been so engrossed in battle and they just want to return to their family and friends. It's a beautiful thing. And they do, in
Yeah,
fact.
yeah, they're homesick.
They're homesick. They want to go home. They go home. And then Javi just has himself a concert, which, like, cool, but, like, why is everybody there? Was he he wasn't an established musician when we last left Earth, was he? Like, he wasn't famous.
And maybe it's some kind of public event thing where people could show up and share their own talent.
Maybe it was a talent show of some sort. In fact, wasn't he
Yeah,
working on a talent show when they left? But like,
I
it
think
seems,
so. Actually,
which I guess it would have. So yeah, maybe this is the talent show, but like, they never make that clear. So it seems like this is Javi's. This is a concert. This is a Javi Garcia concert, and there's a audience of adoring fans when he was not a celebrity at all before.
hey man, take the fame.
Fair enough. So yeah, Javi's doing a concert. He's singing a silly little song. It's not a bad song. I won't call it a silly little song. There's a lot of
It's
silly little songs in Power Rangers that are bad. This is actually a pretty decent song,
it's pretty catchy. It's in my head.
which I will say this did kind of play my strings a little bit. Because you know what other season ended with a musical number from the member of the team who was a musical person? If you'll
I
recall,
know thunder.
yeah, Dino Thunder. So this kind of harkened back to that for me, and that was sweet.
It's dinosaurs again.
This is how far I have to reach, okay? I'm the biggest warrior of I'm always complaining that Dino Thunder is just like ignored in the legacy. When Dino Thunder is so obviously meant to be like a reboot of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and like Tommy Oliver is in it and like it should so obviously be so much more reverberating in the franchise, but none of the actors want to come back. So it's, or at least the like two most popular ones don't want to come back. So it's kind of left in this floating state where they never care about it. And I'm left to be like, hey, look, they're doing a musical number at the end. That's a Dino Thunder reference. That's how far I have to reach to get any
Yeah.
semblance of Dino Thunder legacy.
Yeah, the last time we saw any Dino Thunder stuff was the Dino crossover with Beast Morphers.
We got a little wink. We got a wink in once and always. The Trent and Connor were on that
Yeah,
shelf.
Trending Connor on the shelf, yeah. But aside from, Lightning Collection toys,
Yeah.
because that's what they were.
But regardless, yeah, we end with a beautiful musical number. Mick is here, by the way, so that was not a
Yeah.
rap on Mick that last time. I don't think he actually says anything, so not
Actually,
really important that he's here.
he has one line.
He has one line, okay. So yeah, Mick is here. Everyone is here. You know, Pop Pop is also here. And we see they I guess they didn't want to pay a baby actor because instead of us actually seeing the birth of Amelia's little sister, she has sent a picture of Tarek and her mom, whose name I've forgotten, and the baby. And she's like, "Oh, she came early," and she's showing everybody, and everybody's like hugging her and congratulating her. And it's this big, beautiful moment. But it's weird because why didn't they just get a baby and like do this in person? Because like it's weird that Tarek's last appearance after having such like a badass presence in this season is just this picture on this phone. Is a little weird.
I just use that baby.
Yeah, just film that baby. Instead of taking a picture of it, film it for like a couple of minutes. I'm sure it can take it.
Also, a very quick pause. Doors open. Back.
Welcome back. All right, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, we were
The
good.
baby.
Okay, the baby. So yeah, Amelia's showing off the baby. Pop Pop is there. And they're like, "What's the baby's name?" And Amelia says they named the baby after a personal hero of theirs who saved their daughter. The baby's name is Poppy. Guys, you can't do this to me. Come on.
And he's like, "Oh, another little nugget.
Oh, it's so sweet. Oh,
Another nugget. Oh,
I love
Poppy."
it. I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, that's their beautiful moment. We get a brief conversation between Billy and Mick. Oh, before that, um, yeah. So the song Javi's singing has the phrase "May the power protect you" in it.
May
And
the
Billy's like,
power
"Oh, that's
protect
cool."
you.
Billy's like, "Oh, that's cool that he's using Zordon's phrase as the chorus." And Ion's like, "Zordon? Who's that? I got that from that weird guy that was in the dimension." And Billy's like, "What? You have to tell me every little detail right now." And then later we go to Billy and Mick talking on the sidelines, and Billy's like, "If that really was Zordon, then maybe there's a chance. Maybe we could find him." And I assume you claimed that Mick said something. I don't remember what he said. I assume this is when he says it.
Yeah. He says something like after Billy says he's probably out there in some form, then Mick's like,
Oh yeah,
"Oh, like a ghost."
like a ghost.
And then
Um,
as
and,
Amelia runs up, she's like, "If there's a ghost hunt, I'm dropping everything."
yeah, we're ghost hunting right now. Here we go. Amelia looking real nice, by the way. I like the hair. I like what she did with her hair at this concert. Very
Oh yeah,
pretty.
very nice.
But yeah, everybody is happy. We're all celebrating. Javi's singing a song. And Morphin Master Zayto looks down upon the situation and says his classic catchphrase, "Cool, cool,
Cool, cool,
coolio."
cool.
The last words to ever be spoken in Power Rangers. And that's it.
That was the most like Looney Tunes ending ever. Just
Zayto literally fucking, that's all, folks. Go Power Rangers, go!
just the ending plays, and then in the corner you see the morphing grid just appear in a circle, and he's like, "Cool, cool, coolio," and it shrinks down.
Now I need to see him dubbed over with "That's all, folks," and the Looney Tunes song playing as the show comes to a close.
Don't tempt me. I will do that. I will make that a reality.
That's all, folks.
All I need to do is get a clip of that ending and then get an audio file of "That's all, folks," and then just splice it
Zayto gonna be
together.
in the thumbnail again? God damn it. Has he earned himself yet another fucking thumbnail?
Is that going to be the title? Just that's all, folks.
Maybe. I've got a couple ideas floating around in my head. But that will put Zayto on 3 total thumbnails this season, which is
2 in a
crazy
row as
considering
well.
Zayto is my lace fever. Yeah, and 2 in a row.
Oh my god.
But regardless, folks, that's it. So
That is.
Nightster, who is your favorite character in the end?
You know, it's been really difficult to pick a favorite character because it split across everyone.
Yeah, this is a
Quite.
very I haven't picked yet, and I might need a minute because this is a very everybody centric episode.
You know what? I'm just because she's the one that stepped up and said and was willing to give it all up, even though she just got her powers. I'm gonna say Fun.
That's
I'm gonna be real.
fair.
I'm gonna say Fun.
That's a
She's
fair
earned it.
call. Um, hmm. Hmm. You know what? I realize I actually have not given it to him at all this season either. So this is rounding it out for me. I think I've given it to everybody now. No, I never gave it to Javi. Really? Well, that's unfortunate. But regardless, uh, another Ranger who I've not given to, who I'm gonna give it to now, I think, is Ion.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming, to be honest, because he had quite a bit of focus with Zordon
Yeah,
and
Ion
Zayto.
got Ion like I was almost tempted to give it to Zordon, but Zordon is more important for like what he does for Ion as a character than him himself. And I was just engaged in Ion's plot and his interaction with Zordon, and I think the whole emotional arc with Ion has been extremely well handled the whole time, and I haven't spotlighted it until now. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Ion for the end.
That goodbye scene, though, where, like, especially with that little handshake into the hug, man.
Yeah, they're boyfriends, man. I said that earlier in the season, and like I truly feel that way. Like Ion is in love with this man. He lost his true love, and it's truly tragic.
Yeah, like, they have to be together. There's no way that the writers weren't implying that.
Yeah, especially in Cosmic Fury in particular, they've gone really heavy-handed into Ion is sexually attracted to Zayto, obviously. Like he's very invested. But regardless,
And
favorite
if any
scene?
season, oh,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if any season, um, would be the one to have a same-sex relationship,
It would be the
it
one that already
literally,
does.
it
They
literally is Fury because they have Izzy and Fern.
didn't go all the way. Cowards.
No, they didn't go all the way.
What was your
But
favorite
favorite
scene?
scene, no, clever. From there. Favorite scene. I'm giving it straight away. I'm to the ending. The musical number, the emotional bits with the baby, and then the whole hint towards Zordon. That whole thing had me just welling up. I have to give it to that.
Yeah, no, I have to give it to that too. I'm a sucker for big song coming together numbers at the end. It's even better when they're singing them, because Dino Thunder is the other example I gave. But also a similar example, in a scene that I felt very similar vibes to, where it was just a song that was playing. There wasn't actually a music number happening. But the end of Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, where everyone kind of comes together in triumph and they're playing that one song where it's like Turbo Tigers in the night, and they're playing that song, and they hold they just won the karate tournament and they got the big trophy, and they hold Justin up in the air
Yeah,
holding the trophy, and it's like it's a nice sweet final moment, and like this kind of gave me those vibes and I was into it.
yeah. Like everything turned out well. Everyone got what they wanted, except for Ion. But
Well, maybe he gets to reopen his cake shop.
Lagen cake.
Larkin cakes.
That wasn't half bad. You hit that.
All right. Let's talk about where we're ranking it. You did. You see, you alluded earlier that it might be the new number 2, but in my mind, I'm feeling like it's number 3. Like I liked it, but again, it could have been a lot more. It was a little bit anticlimactic at the end there. This is a
Yeah.
good episode, but Master Plan was a damn good penultimate episode and really built the Master Plan built things up so well that I was slightly disappointed by the end. So I think this is number 3 personally.
I'm willing to go down to number 3 just because of how anticlimactic that was, especially with the fact that there was no real final fight.
Okay, so coming in at the new number 3 is The End.
Like
And you go ahead.
the biggest hint that we got to a final fight in the season was with Bajilia, and she went down in one hit.
Yeah, that she didn't put up much of a fight at the end there. We kind of brushed past her death because the show kind of brushed past her death. So,
Yeah.
but still pretty good. I mean, not the best finale in Power Rangers, and you'd kind of hope that it would the best finale of Power Rangers, given it that it's the last finale of the original universe. But
Yeah, but it's hard to top some of the finales like Time Force and Dino Thunder and In Space.
Dino Thunder, I don't know if that finale is that highly regarded. That might be a hot take. Where did I rank that? I sent you my ranking of Dino Thunder episodes, and you didn't even have one opinion. I was so ready to have so many opinions discussed with you, and you didn't even have one opinion.
Yeah, because it's been a while since I've seen Dino Thunder, so although there is one episode where I need to know where you put it. Where the
What's
hell
the
is that meant to...
episode?
You know what the episode is.
You see, I don't, because it could be any episode that has to do with the White Ranger.
Exactly.
Which they're all pretty high.
Number 5. White Thunder. You know,
Oh, the initial White Ranger episode, yeah, so that's number 5.
Yeah.
I thought you might be talking about the episode where the evil White Ranger and the regular White Ranger fight, which is also pretty high.
Hold on. Pause again. Right.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Were we talking about something in particular? Oh yeah,
Yeah. Dino Thunder.
the episode where the White Rangers fight each other.
Which I can't remember what that was even called.
If I looked at the list, I would remember which one it was from when I was making the list, but I gotta pull up the list first.
White Ranger versus White Ranger episode.
I believe it was Strange Relations, which I gave number 7.
Number 7. Fair enough.
My phone thinks there's moisture in the charging port.
Normally, I'd be a bit miffed that there's a White Ranger focus episode in the last spot, but a test of trust is...
It's a clip show.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's set in like a freaking sketchbook.
No, that one is way higher what you're thinking of. And what was that one called?
Is Ranger Wiki lying to me?
Unless that also takes place in a sketchbook. I didn't know. But there's Drawn into Danger, where they like go into a comic book. And that's number 19. I kind of like that episode.
That is... Okay, yeah, that is the one I'm thinking of. But I look at what I'm DMing you. Why is Google doing this to me?
That's not... Yeah, that's a different episode. What the fuck? Well, it's probably because this is a clip from that episode that was in A Test of Trust.
Oh, it might be.
But yeah, no, that's Drawn into Danger, which I like. It didn't end up as high as I thought it was, because I remember doing a lot of yeah, I think Drawn into Danger is better than this. It seems like Drawn into Danger is gonna rank way higher than I think it will, but it did not overall. That was a long process. I found a tool that like if you want to rank a list and you're too stupid to do it, you can use this tool, but it's just going to take you a really long time because what it does is
I think I know.
it
I think I
takes the
know.
list and it will feed that list to you and it will be like, is this one better than this one? Is this one better than this one? And it will go through every possible combination until it
Yeah,
produces a ranked list. And I think it was fairly accurate. I think the one like kind of surprise that I surprised myself, but like I answered the questions knowing that it was probably going to happen. That Thunderstorm ended up above Disappearing Act because I've always said my two favorite episodes of Dino Thunder were Fighting Spirit and Disappearing Act, and I still really like Disappearing Act, but uh, Thunderstorm is one of the best crossovers in the franchise, and I do like it when Power
yeah.
Rangers come together. So.
Like I don't know what it is, but something about a red ranger fighting a different red ranger is just awesome, and we got to see a bit of that.
Yeah, Power Rangers fighting Power Rangers and Power Rangers fighting together with other Power Rangers who they don't regularly fight with are two of the coolest things that happen in the franchise, and they both happen in Thunderstorm. So
And we get a really nice unmorphed fight with abilities.
they do both have unmorphed abilities that they use against each other. Yeah, that is really cool. I guess I never really thought of how cool of a scene that is. But yeah, I guess it's like one of the only times the civilian powers get to shine. Because
The
most of the time they don't want to pay to animate the civilian powers.
the coolest shot of that scene, in my opinion, is when Tori tries to jet Kira with water, but Kira just cancels it out by screaming.
How do you feel about civilian powers overall? Because for me, like, I don't think they've ever been executed poorly necessarily, but I think they've always been unnecessary. I don't know how you feel about that.
If they make sense, which they normally do, 9 times out of 10, they've always made always what the fuck? And 9 times out of 10, they've made sense. But
But
as long as they
occasionally it'll bring the question up of like why even morph? Like particularly Dino Thunder because like Connor, super speed is one of the most broken powers in the history of time. Why would he ever morph?
well, his ranger suit gives him like the enhanced well, superhuman everything. Sure, he's not super fast, but he's stronger, more durable, has more stamina than he would if he wasn't morphed. And also, he has a gun, a sword, a staff, and a shield with a sword, and a battle rifle
I'm
with
not
cannon.
necessarily saying that his ranger form is not powerful, but what I am saying is like super speed.
It is.
The thing that makes super speed so broken is that logically any villain that doesn't also have super speed is just going to get their ass entirely kicked. Like it's going to be as if they just had like a 5-minute fight where they didn't throw a punch, but it was actually 10 seconds.
That would have been really cool to see, come to think of it, and would have been Connor not morphed, fighting Trent morphed, and both of them using their super speed.
That would have been sick as hell.
Trent has super speed when he's morphed. Imagine the fight there.
Missed opportunities. And again, why would he even have morphed in that scene? He should have just used his super speed.
Another missed opportunity now that I'm thinking about it. Unless, wait, did I know.
Let's wait. I thought you said let's wait. I'm like, sure, let's wait 10 years.
I, I was gonna say, was Trent even part of the show at this point? But he definitely was. In Thunderstorm, how cool would it have been to see Trent face off against the Ninja Rangers? Super speed versus super speed.
Yeah, good point. And I don't think that happened.
It didn't.
I think Trent is pretty much a non-factor in Thunderstorm until the final fight, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, pretty much. The only fights with Rangers versus Rangers
He
are
encourages Kira to go talk to a cute boy, thus confirming they're no longer dating. That's what he does in this episode.
yeah, which kind of links back to the whole Oh yeah, Kira and Blake and Trent and Tori. That some people have.
Trent and Tori, the people extrapolated Trent and Tori because I don't recall any sort of chemistry that they had. If anything, if I took Tori away from Blake, I would put her with Cam, and if I took Trent away from Kira, I would put him with, I guess, no one. I guess he's gonna have to find a new girl who we don't get to meet because he doesn't meet her while he's a Power Ranger.
The Drago sword. That's his girlfriend.
Yeah,
And I said sword, not Zord. So I'm not.
and I'm not gonna go to the cop out answer of Haley that people give a lot of the time because Haley is an adult woman and these are
Yeah,
kids. So I don't know
she's
why
much
people
older
say
than
that.
Trent.
People will ship Haley with like Ethan, and it's like, no, that's not. You can't do that. Even if it's after graduation, she knew them as kids. That's called grooming, guys. I don't know if you knew
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, she can't be with any of the core three, or Trent.
I was about to say, well, no, you about to argue that she could be with Trent?
Oh, I forgot about Trent for a second because I was thinking right the core the core three are teens, and then you've got Tommy,
She'd
who
be with
isn't a
Tommy,
teen.
assumedly married. Um, who at
Yeah,
least if
Tommy.
you well, assumedly married if you just draw the line from canon. But I assume estranged from his girlfriend, who he will later reconcile with and marry. Because where the hell was Kat during Dino Thunder?
Yeah, who knows? No mention of her either.
No mention of her, and I feel like they kind of tried to ship him with Randall at the end.
Oh, they definitely did.
So it's weird.
But
But
the
he
entire
marries Kat, so assumedly here's my pitch, okay? They broke up like immediately after Turbo cuz Kat was getting fucking frustrated with the race car farm shit. And
yeah,
now that they're not Power Rangers anymore, they can like pursue real adult lives and Kat does not want to be tied down. So I think they break up like literally right after passing the torch. And then sometime after Dino Thunder, they reconcile in their adult lives and they get married.
yeah. Well, so how much of this is actually going to be remain on in the podcast?
All of it.
Fair
What do you
enough.
mean?
Because for a second, I thought that you've forgotten that we were recording.
No, this is all content. I want this to be an extra stuffed episode. It's the
Okay.
finale.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm going well into Dino Thunder.
We're spending the finale of Cosmic Fury talking about Dino Thunder. I know, but regardless, yeah, great episode. Good job, Cosmic Fury. And you might think we're closing the book on Cosmic Fury if you're new here, but not just yet, folks. Next week, because we agreed upon that before. I don't know if I'm throwing Nightster a curveball because he forgot about that conversation, but
Didn't
uh,
forget. I know.
next week, folks, we're going to be doing the recap and rank 'em up episode for Power Rangers Cosmic Fury because, frankly, I have a lot of thought. Excuse me. I have hiccups now, so that's going to be good to do the the last 5 minutes of the podcast with. Frankly, I have a lot of thoughts bubbling around about Cosmic Fury in general that I've been holding in today for that episode, and I might kill myself if I have to wait a whole another week. So we're gonna do it next week, get Cosmic Fury over with, and then barrel through the rest of Mighty Morphin Season 1. So you can join us next week for the recap and rank 'em up. We're gonna talk about just the season in general, how we feel about it. We're gonna rank all of the Rangers, starting our overall Ranger ranking. We're gonna be ranking all the Power Rangers on there against each other. It'll just be Cosmic Fury at first, because Cosmic Fury is the first season we finished. But then more Rangers will be added over time. We obviously, in theory, will be ranking the show, but again, it's the first show we finished, so it's gonna be number one.
Yeah,
And we'll also be talking about the mathematical character ranking which is a fun feature I'm gonna do for recap and rank them up that I'll explain for you here. I'll spoil early. I've decided um, where every season, and I still haven't decided. This is the part you can help me decide because this is another
Okay.
like weird logistical thing that I'm like torn up about. So the idea is, even though we're gonna have our own personal character rankings, obviously, and it's not gonna be accurate, I think it'll be fun to do a mathematical character ranking in which all of our favorite character assignments become points, and all the characters get points based on how many times we each of us gave them favorite character, and they get an overall ranking for the mathematical Megazord Radio character ranking of that season. So that's a thing that we're going to be doing. But my question is, I don't think we're going to include guests because that's a weird variable that just doesn't need to be dealt with. But a particular question about Cosmic Fury and Mighty Morphin Season 1 in particular is, do we include Crow royalty?
I think for these catch-up episodes, if we can, we should probably get him on the cast.
No, because he's already coming on Doomsday in a couple weeks. I don't want to try to schedule with him twice that quick. Come on now. I was just asking if she should include his points.
True. Okay, in that case, yeah, I think we should, just so it's at least fair.
Yeah,
Because
and they were the co-host, even though you get retroactive points that get assigned for that episode too, because we're not going to not include those because we went through the trouble of getting all of those from you. But because they were part of the recaps, I'll include their points too, which means Cosmic Fury, instead of having 20 points on the board, it now has 23 points on the board. So three extra points for Cosmic Fury. So not as important as it will be for season 1.
yeah, what's she barking at now?
But yeah, that's going to be exciting. Tune in to find out who mathematically will win, even though you already know if you've heard all the episodes before and you know in your mind. But you probably don't, because who has that sort of memory? So we'll tell you.
We'll tell you who we think is the
We'll tell you who
who-
we think is the best, and we'll tell you who math has determined is the best based on what we've said in prior episodes.
yeah.
I can hear Nightster's dog barking. We should probably get wrapped up here.
Yeah. She's going a
Uh,
bit wild there.
so
Oh,
thank you for listening to Megazord Radio. Is it pause time? Was I too late?
and now she just decided to run back in.
Oh, okay. But yeah, thank you for listening. Nightster, where can our listeners find you?
That's it. You can find me on my solo channel, Nightster, or you can find me, Riely, and some other great friends talking about Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Ultraman, and all things Toku back at Toku Thrill. So tune in.
That's right, folks. Maybe someday Zed Kaiser episode 2 review will be on there.
I know, I don't even know where my computer is anymore. It was in the kitchen, and but someone must have moved it.
And you mentioned those other friends. The only video in which any of those other friends have appeared on in recent times is the Pink Ranger tier list, which also still isn't out for the same reason.
Which will get posted once the computer is found. I need to figure out who moved it.
You got an investigation on your hands, a big mystery.
Yeah. I promise I'm not stalling. There's just a lot getting in the way of finding the computer. Like
I
I find it
understand.
and then I lose it again.
It happens to the best of us. I get it.
Yeah.
But folks, you can find me at linktr.ee/Riely Cinematic Universe. That's Riely Cinematic Universe. Transfat Experience might not be coming back. That one's in limbo. And the Death Stream just hasn't happened in a while, but hopefully it'll keep happening again. So I will plug that one. Thursdays at 7, probably, maybe 7 p.m. Eastern. We have the Death Stream on the Riely and Friends YouTube channel. But now, the particular project I want to highlight, folks, the one that's going into Turbo Overdrive. I know those are both names of Power Rangers franchises. I did not realize until I said it. But Big Guy, Little Guy. It's a Let's Play channel. It's me. It's my good friend Andrew. We play some video games. Very soon, folks, in the coming weeks, Big Guy, Little Guy is becoming a daily channel. 7 days a week. Big Guy, Little Guy content will be hitting your feeds every single fucking day for the rest of time, hopefully. Probably not, given our track record, but hopefully. And you can check that out on Big Guy, Little Guy, which I'm told actually comes up when you search it now. So that's progress already in our careers. So check it out, Big Guy, Little Guy. And that's it. Thank you for listening to Megazord Radio. I've been Riely.
I've been Nightster.
And until next time, we're morphing out of here.
A
Link to
link to
Morphing
Morphing
Grid.
Grid.
You want to take that one again? You were doing like I feel like you were doing like the Patrick voice. You were like, Link to Morphing Grid.
I have something caught in my throat. Yeah, let's run that back. Run that back.
I'm leaving this all in, by the way. All right. Take it again. Here we go.
Okay.
Link to Morphing Grid. Okay, you just didn't go that time.
I thought you were doing we're morphing out of here again. I was waiting for
No,
that.
I was just doing the 3 count again, you fool. That's it. That's it. That's the end of the episode. Bye.
No.
You don't get another chance.
Nice to you, fool.
You fool.